Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Dusk for a Hitman, a Quebec movie about gangsters in 1979. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm totally in. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 13 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. You know I love gangster movies. Surprisingly, Canada is pretty good at some of them. They've got some really good gangster stuff up in the Great White North. And there is a real scene up there, so to speak, of organized crime. So this is a classic tale. Now, it's all in French because it's in Quebec, Montreal, 1979. And the premise is you've got a hitman, and he's having a great career, I guess you would say, moving up in the ranks. But his brother is broke and begs him for a job in his crew. Well, he screws up, of course. And now the gangsters are like, you either got to kill your brother or we're going to kill you. And we're going to kill both of you, most likely. So this is one of the main guys. So I guess this is a scene where he kills his brother, I'm going to guess. And it's a classic gangster tale. Plus, it's in Montreal in 1979. So it's got a different flavor. It's not the same old stuff. Oh, man, I can't read the... I think it's directed by Raymond St. John. I think. I don't know. I got to look it up. Guys do this to me all the time with the credits. That's for a Hitman. It's from last year. This came out. So directed by Raymond St. Jean. Writers Mark Gerard and Raymond St. Jean. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. It looks real good. Oops. Rated R for adult situations. So he's just, and it's inspired by true life events, meaning it's probably based on a particular crime family up north. But he's having a great time. He's making money. Money and power came easy to him until his brother screws it all up. So, pretty typical rundown. First act, you see him having a great time as a hitman. He kills dudes, mostly guys who deserve it or are in crime anyway. And then, he's making money. His wife gives him a little bit of, business. But other than that, everything's fine. Second act, his brother comes to him, make me part of your crew. He's like, it's not for you. Okay. Eventually, he lets him in. They do a crime. The brother screws it all up. Either he kills a guy or he rats him out to the cops or whatever. Whatever he does. Steals money he shouldn't steal. Now the mob guys are like, you got to fix this. There's only one way to fix this. You're going to have to kill him. And he tries to push back and say, oh, come on, we'll pay you or whatever. But his brother just makes it worse and worse until he has to make the decision to kill him. Now, then, I don't know. Then it gets a little dicey. So the question is, does he kill his own brother? Does he try to protect his own brother for a while, but then his brother ends up dying anyway, or ends up making it so bad that he's forced to kill his own brother? Probably goes up against his own guys, I would say, at some point. Or they just finally get impatient and say, listen, you're not doing what we said. You're both a liability now. You're both done. So typically in a movie, it'll be like, well, he'll turn against the mob and he'll just kill them all. I think there's a little more grounded than that. And the thing I really liked about it, it's a different flavor. It's in North America. It's not in a foreign country. It's not in Italy. And this is again, it's a little known area that people who follow the gangster stuff don't really talk about all that often, but there really are some serious players up north doing gangster stuff, and they're French. So it's a little, it throws you off a little bit when you hear the French, right? You're like, what? Why aren't they speaking Italian? Or, you know, why aren't they talking with a Brooklyn accent? No, these guys, they're real deal. So basically, it'll be like Goodfellas with poutine. So I think it'll be good. It looks good. I like the era, of course. Okay, there's no write up here. IMDb had a write up. In the late 70s, the most feared hitman in Montreal underworld, Donald Lavoie, found himself hunted down by his former accomplices by a tenacious police officer. Oh, okay, so there's a cop in it too. They didn't mention that in the trailer. So maybe it's a corrupt cop and this is his brother. So they're probably having poutine. I would bet money they're having poutine in this scene. It's very Canadian. Did they have poutine in 79? I'm going to guess they probably did. It sounds like they would have had it at least since the mid 60s, I'm going to guess. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm all about this. Dusk for a Hitman. Now, it is subtitled. It seems to be all in French. But I have a little insight into the Canadian movie scene. It's kind of interesting. You know, the Canadian film scene is very different in that they'll make movies in English and they'll make movies in French. Obviously, for the Quebec province, where people in Quebec, interestingly enough, have to speak French, like they're taught French in school, but also they're taught English sometimes, but not all the time. But they're kind of like, I've been told by my friend who's from there, there's like a bit of a sort of hillbilly vibe to some of the French-only speakers because it's harder to get jobs in the rest of Canada outside of Quebec if you don't speak English. So it's almost like they're foreigners in their own country in a weird way. So then the movie scene is like one of the biggest movies in Canada was Good Cop, Bon Cop. Good Cop, Bon Cop, which is half English, half French, Good Cop, Bad Cop, where one of the cops was from Quebec, I guess Montreal, I forget, and the other cop was from the rest somewhere else, that spoke English. And they kind of team up, and it's a gangster movie. But the movie only grossed like $9 million. But it was like the biggest hit just in Canada. So there are movies sometimes that hit just in Canada that we really don't get here. Like, you could probably find that movie somewhere on the streaming, but like it wasn't a big deal. But in Canada, it was kind of a big deal. The government there will subsidize the movie industry if you use Canadian talent or enough of it. And but the interesting thing is, like, you can make a movie there and then try to bring it to other areas of the world too, because each market has its own thing. They have their own distribution. So this might be, because it's in French, a Canadian only movie, or it's of such high quality, I think it was actually produced last year, that it's busting out of that mode, and someone like Netflix or one of the streamers will pick it up, or it'll get some limited distribution and it'll do kind of good. It looks good. It looks good. So Dusk for a Hitman, I'm going to give it up, though. What do you think of that, Canadians? What do you think of that, Canucks? It's not all bad in Canada, I guess. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for more bass takes. If you can find a more bass take, Joan gets very spicy in those videos. I say take it. Tomorrow I'm going on a podcast tonight. I'm not sure when it's going to air, but tomorrow I'll be at the Addison in Egg Harbor for the residents there, 2 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. But then on Thursday, open to the public, Pemberton Community Library. That's at 6 p.m. I'll be doing my talk there. And Saturday, Lines in the Pines. Catch me early in the day. Anyhow, that's it. We'll see you in the next one.